let's not forget that today, February 25, is the 39th anniversary of the EDSA People Power Revolution. Despite being downgraded to a special working day, several groups and schools took time to commemorate the peaceful revolt that eventually toppled the 20-year dictatorship of former President Ferdinand Marcos Sr. Here in Metro Manila, a wreath-laying ceremony was held at the People Power Monument along EDSA, led by the Quezon City LGU and the National Historical Commission of the Philippines, or NHCP. Survivors of martial law, as well as various student leaders and organizations, joined this year's commemoration. There were those who were dismayed by the administration's decision not to declare today a holiday. The NHCP says it will continue programs to celebrate the EDSA People's Revolt, while the Human Rights Violations Victims Memorial Commission says that it hopes that on the 40th anniversary next year, the President commemorates it as in the past.
He may even again repeat what his father did, because his first step was to forget this.
Hindi pa tapos ang ating laban. Tuloy-tuloy nating ipapaalala sa mga kabataan na meron tayong walang katapusang pagbabago ng lipunan natin. So ito ay isang paraan na sariwain yung ating laban, baguhin ng ating lipunan, laban sa korupsyon.
Students of the Polytechnic University of the Philippines staged a walkout today after school administration refused to suspend classes. Students who joined the walkout marched across or around the campus, calling for accountability and governance and an end to corruption. Meanwhile, students from Bulacan State University and UP Tacloban also held rallies today to commemorate EDSA and honor the victims of the Marcos dictatorship. More than 11,000 victims of human rights violations under Marcos Sr. have received indemnification or compensation, which will be taken from Marcos's secret Swiss bank accounts, which by some estimates were worth 10 billion pesos. But the Human Rights Violations Victims Memorial Commission also pointed out that this represents only about 14% of the total number of cases filed for reparations, with the vast majority unable to proceed due to a lack of evidence.
Those who actually filed were 75,749. So 85% were not recognized by the state. That is due to lack of evidence, substantive proof. It's so hard to dig up evidence and witnesses from 40 years ago. Nevertheless, the Human Rights Victims Claims Court ended its work in 2018. All of the records, more than 2 million individual documents, are now with us.
The palace responds to all criticism on the non-declaration of a holiday for the anniversary of the EDSA People Power Revolution. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro had to defend the president again from criticism that Marcos Jr. is trying to diminish the historical significance of the revolution. Castro maintains there is no such effort by the present administration. President Marcos Jr. has kept declaring February 25 a non-working holiday for the second consecutive year now.
Let's dive into this further, get to know more about the new Palace spokesperson. Joining us tonight is Palace Press Officer, Undersecretary Claire Castro. Welcome to the big story, Yusek Castro.
Yes, good evening, ladies.
Good evening. Thanks for being with us. I know it's been a very busy day for you attending to media inquiries. First off, for the people who don't know you, I understand you've just assumed position yesterday, in fact, and you're officially an undersecretary as well as Palace Press Officer. What does that entail? Are you now officially the spokesperson for the president?
No, the president will be speaking for himself. He will have no spokesperson. But my mandate is just to explain, to expound whatever will be and entertain any question regarding the directives or pronouncements that the media people have not asked to the president.
Yusek. Or what do we call you? What do you prefer to be called? Yusek. We'll call you Yusek Claire. Yusek Claire.
Okay, attorney.
Attorney, nasanay po ako
Attorney
nagpapakinggan.
maybe sounds sweeter than Yusek.
No, because I used to listen to your show on the radio, so nasanay po ako dun sa normal name. Attorney Claire.
Thanks, Sean.
Right. So, so there will be no palace official presidential spokesperson. So, but will you be conducting daily press briefings? And will the president still be conducting what he promised the last month, I believe, that he will do a personal press briefing, I think on a monthly basis? So tuloy yun.
Yes, tuloy po yun. Every month, there will be a press conference with the president. Doon, he will discuss maybe his projects, his programs. And doon po, madidinig po ng taong bayan ang mga pronouncements po ng ating Pangulo.
Well, Attorney Clara, tell us about your appointment. Did President Marcos speak to you directly? What was that conversation like? And was it a clear yes for you?
Yes, I was invited to be part of PCO. And maybe for just 4 times I thought about it. I pondered about it. And I accepted after the 4th time that I was asked to be part of the team. And yes, we talk about, especially to curtail or at least to eradicate, not totally eradicate, but at least lessen the fake news. And so that we can also bring the statements about the projects and the programs of the government for the people. So ang dapat po talaga ang makaalam po ng proyekto at mga tulong na maaaring makuha ay patutungo at makakarating po sa taong bayan. The problem now, ladies, these programs of the government have not been given much thought about by the people. Why? Because more fake news had been in the headlines. So that's the problem. Natatabunan kasi yung magagandang balita na sana sa taong bayan, and that we will be working on that so that the people will know what they can get from the government.
Wait, what stopped you the first 3 times?
What changed in the 4th time, Attorney?
I'm just an ordinary, I am not into politics. I do not want to be, as much as possible, to be a politician, but as of now, I will never consider myself as a politician, but a public servant.
Okay, fair enough. Let's get into some of the issues. Let me have you react to something that Davao City Mayor Baste Duterte put out today. As you know, the hot topic today is the EDSA People Power Commemoration, and he put out a statement today saying, martial law declared, if I could just have that graphic as well, martial law declared by Ferdinand Marcos Sr. in 1972 left a dark legacy. Countless lives were lost, freedoms were stripped away, and powers concentrated in the hands of a few. But also, it is a reminder that we must remain united against any oppression. And people power was more than just a revolution. It was a testament to the collective strength of the Filipino people in demanding truth, justice, and accountability. The one we're flashing right now is the condensed version. And there's also a paragraph that said, as we remember those who suffered and fought for our liberties, we must remain vigilant, especially now when the threat of authoritarian rule once again looms over our nation. So I guess when I say please react to that, I'm having you react to that last line about authoritarian rule.
Yes. My reaction first, it's not nice writing. I don't know who's the writer, but he has a good writer. But anyway, my reaction, as I've heard a while ago, there's a news about the 85% of the alleged victims of the alleged Marcos dictatorship. There's lack of evidence. So there was no proof whatsoever as of now about this 85% of the alleged victims. Well, with regard to the darkest legacy or darkest times, I hope the Mayor Baste Duterte should not forget what happened for the past 6 years under the Duterte administration. He should look back what happened and how this EJK became a household and tagline name during his time. As of now, the victims have not yet been given justice. The case, the complaints are still before the ICC. We should not forget that. So before making such allegations against the president, my advice is just he should look back.
Would you
for
know,
the past
Wait,
6 years.
speaking of the
wait,
ICC,
wait, sorry. I need to correct you on the first item, which is that what the Human Rights Victims Memorial Commission said. They didn't say there was no evidence. They said it's difficult
Luck.
to dig up evidence because it has been 40 years. And of course, 40 years ago, we do not have the same technologies as we do now. So that's what he said. He didn't say there was no evidence. It's a difficulty in procuring evidence and witnesses.
I just heard lack of evidence, so I just used the word lack of evidence.
Right. Okay, but we
Thank you.
needed to set that record straight.
with regard to the ICC, since you mentioned it, Yusek Claire, what is the Palace's position now on the ICC? In the beginning of the administration, I understand it's only day 2 for you at work, but perhaps you have some insight. At the beginning of the administration, I'm sure you followed, no? Napaka-hardline pa ni President Marcos about whether we are with the ICC or not. He said vehemently no. We saw that stance softening through time, right? Until the pronouncement from the other secretaries like Boying Remulla, Secretary of Justice, are, it will depend. If Interpol asks for help, we can't say no. What is, at this moment in time, where do we stand with the ICC?
If we could still remember the pronouncements of the president way maybe 2 years ago or a year ago, he said that ICC has no jurisdiction over the Philippines. Okay? ICC has no jurisdiction now. Of course, that's a fact. But at the time that the alleged crimes committed, the EJ case committed by the former president, ICC has jurisdiction over it.
Right, we understand that,
we
Attorney.
cannot say we cannot change the decision of the Supreme Court about this declaration that, if I'm not mistaken, before all those acts committed prior to the withdrawal, ICC has the jurisdiction.
Right, we
So
understand
if
that.
I
That's
can
until-
remember, yeah.
That
Go
was
ahead.
until 2019, right? So 2016 to
Yes.
2019, we were still part. But I'm talking more about the stance of this administration when it comes to the ICC. What is the current stance of the Marcos administration now?
As of now, we will not, okay, there's a pronouncement that we will not block or prevent any witness from being interviewed by the ICC. And if ever the Interpol will come and ask for help and assistance, we cannot avoid that. So that's the pronouncement as of now. That's our stance.
Okay.
When you say that your mandate is to bring to the front, to bring to the fore some of the bad news that's been overshadowed by, some of the good news that's been overshadowed by the bad news, what exactly are you talking about? Because, I mean, for us in the media, we do try hard to be balanced. And of course, whatever projects or initiatives that the Malacanang has rolled out, we make sure to cover it pretty well. But you also can't deny that there's a lot of political noise right now. It is very noisy precisely because of the word war between former President Duterte and President Marcos. So how do we get around that? And what other, what good news are you referring to?
We will just give you the details with the Secretary Jay about these projects that the government is are taking on and for the benefit or best interest of the people. We will just give you the list.
Okay. I was wondering also because, as everyone has already reported, Yusek Claire, this is already, kumbaga, the 4th secretary that we have. So the 4th kind of like PCO administration in less than 3 years. Is there a change in mandate or does the new secretary and yourself, where do you want to steer the PCO to? Should we expect any changes in the manner of how the PCO conducts its usual business, or are things going to be the same, or is it a little bit of both?
I just wanted to add, Attorney, netizens have already been calling you very feisty, even savage in how you've been responding to different issues. I mean, is this the direction that the PCO is going to take?
Well, I answered that in other programs. I just told Ms. Karen Davila that this is just me. The palace did not tell me to do these things or act like this, but this is me. You know, ladies, I'm a trial lawyer. Maybe that's the reason why I'm kind of passionate in talking about facts and things. So we will just answer those things or those issues of national concerns. Maybe I will retain myself as is. I will be just natural. But definitely all my answers will be from the palace.
Okay, well, Attorney, speaking of issues, of course, we have that impeachment complaint awaiting the Vice President. President Marcos already said that he will only call a special session if the Senate asks for it. Is that still the position of President Marcos?
Yes, as of now, he has not changed his mind on this. Because for me, it will not be, I said it will be an awkward position if the president himself will volunteer to call for special session to start the impeachment trial. Considering that there are intrigues that the president is the one behind all of these impeachment issues. So it's not for the president to voluntarily call for the special session unless the Senate will ask him for that.
Okay, just going back to the direction of this new PCO under a new PCO Secretary Jay Ruiz and yourself, should we expect any changes? And is there a new mandate from the president? What can you tell us about the fourth iteration of the PCO under the Marcos administration?
Yes, according to Secretary Jay Ruiz, we will be more proactive. We will be more visible. Maybe unlike before, you cannot hear answers if there are some issues. But now, we will be always ready to answer if it is necessary.
But when you say that you're going to be yourself, Yusek, to put it bluntly, you weren't hired to become an attack dog. Is that what you're saying? Because
yes, I will never be an attack dog. I will just answer the necessary issues that concerns the country, that concerns the government and the president.
Kasi yun nga po yung napansin about you, which is that you assume the position and right away you hit back at the other side. And also this plays to what I was saying before, that the word war between the two former presidents are heating up. Between them and their camps, right? It's heating up. So then if I were jaded about it, I would think, oh, baka naman Malacanang hired someone who's more, let's say, aggressive to be their spokesperson. So hindi naman ganun po nangyari.
Hindi, Miss Regine. It's like this. When we were introduced, it's supposed to be wala pang tanungan eh. But Miss Maricel initiated the question and answer. So I just have to answer. And what is the question? It's about Duterte saying that the president is gearing towards dictatorship or is into martial law. So I just have to answer that.